Namaste, yogis. Thank you so much for joining me on this very special Yin class to honor and celebrate the ending of a year and the beginning of another. I decided to offer this class because it coincides that my birthday is on December 31st, the end of the calendar year. So for me, this is a natural time of observing the year gone by and entering into a new cycle. So I personally like to take this time of year to reflect, to journal, to have a moment of introspection. What has this year been about? What is the next year going to be about? But beyond all of that, what I really think is most valuable for me each year is an opportunity to just experience what is. So yes, what has happened is very important and what will come is very important. But this moment in between, this moment of transition, this moment of the now, is really the moment I'm trying to work with more and more and capture more and more of. And I find that the Yin Yoga practice is an excellent way to do that. So I wanted to share with all of you this very special class as a way to celebrate and honor and sit in what is. So cultivating a little bit of space for that to come through, for us to be in gratitude. Gratitude to be able to think about the future, to have a future to consider. Gratitude for all of the lessons from the past, and gratitude for this very moment here and now. I will also be sharing with you some journaling prompts, some things to consider beyond this class, and how you can call in what your heart's desire is when you are very aligned with where you are, sitting in space, giving yourself space and time, allows you to be living in truth, resonating in your heart's truth. So let's get started. Sit in a comfortable seated position. I've got here bolster, block, blanket. You can have some props around if you need them, but find a place where you can sit comfortably. You can sit with the ankles crossed or the shins crossed or the legs tucked under, but for a few moments, let's allow ourselves to fully arrive to the space. So the physical body arrives, and we can feel that. We can feel the legs on the ground, the feet on the ground. Maybe you can notice the hands. Where are they resting? How do they feel on your body? Maybe you notice the clothing you're wearing resting on your body. And then very gently become aware of your thoughts. What's moving across the landscape of your mind today? What is the inner dialogue, the story? Take a moment to notice the feelings, the emotional body. What is the emotional body communicating to you today? So what lies beneath the body, beneath the mind layer? What are the emotions? And take a moment to just become aware of the quality of your breath. Is it long? Is it short? Is it deep? Is it shallow? What is that gentle hum from within? How does it sound? And can we continue to cultivate a space where we can connect deeply with that which is, with what is real for us, with what is coming through for us? So in the Yin practice, we don't really do too much pranayama. We just kind of allow the breath to be, and we keep our awareness on sensations. Sensations will keep us very much in the here and now, very much where we are, and allow some unraveling to occur. Right? So we want to encourage this unclenching, ungripping, unraveling, so we can be more in the space of now and what is. Slowly bring your chin to your chest. Blink your eyes open and lift the head up. Let's come onto our backs and lay flat on the ground with the back of the head pressing into the ground. Extend the legs out in front of you. And I'm going to bring my legs over to the right side of my mat. I'm going to reach my arms overhead to come into banana pose. So I'm making a banana shape with my body. And I'm really trying to kind of carve out this length on the left side and this shortening here on the right side. You can press the back of the head into the ground. You can move the chin over to the chest or towards the right shoulder. Your shoulder can be lifted up, that's okay. And if grabbing the wrist feels like it's creating any pinching for you around the shoulder or around the collarbones, you can just widen the hands here and separate them. It's really about getting sensation on the inner arm, inside from the inner armpit down to the left side of the body and down the outer edge of the leg. So anywhere along the left side of the body, that's where you want to feel sensation. And then allow the belly to relax. And the more we can soften the belly, the more we can kind of create a little bit of a pull here on the skin, on the fascia that's lying beneath the skin of the belly and the torso. If it's comfortable for you, you let the eyes close or get very soft so the lids are heavy. The inner thighs are relaxed. So no gripping, no holding. And the breath is gently flowing in and out. Banana pose with sensation down the left side of the body, anywhere from the left inner arm, so from the pinky through the inside of the arm, outer edge of the arm, and then from the hollow of the armpit down the side body, down into the hip, and on the outer edge of the left leg. Start to slowly come out of the pose, releasing the hands, taking your time, moving slowly. So I like to move very slow. And then we're going to just gently transition over to the other side. So I'll just move my legs across, shift my hip so that I can really kind of pull on the right side of the body. My arms will go overhead and I'll reach for my right wrist with my left hand. Again, you can keep your hands separate if you can't catch here. And you want to find this outer edge. You might find that one side has more sensation than the other. One side has more information or dialogue. And once you've arrived in the pose, you can adjust the head and neck to a place where it doesn't feel like it's pinching. If you feel pinch in the inside seam of the legs, in the groin, you can also separate the ankles. So you don't have to cross the ankles, but you do want to create this half moon or banana shape on the body so that one side is longer and one side is shortening. And when you're working with sensation, you can bring your attention to where exactly am I feeling this right now? Is it on the hip? Is it in between the intercostal muscles? Is it above my armpit? Is it below my armpit? By my elbow? Is it closer to the outer edge of my thigh, on my IT band? But wherever you're bringing your awareness and sensational awareness to, it gives you a place to just say, this is where I'm at right now. So if you find yourself drifting off to the future, or kind of lingering in the past, come back to, this is where I'm at right now. This is where I'm at right now. Belly completely relaxed. Try not to create any additional tension in the body so that the tension or the sensation of tension or gentle tug or gentle pull is only in the target area, anywhere along the side of the body. And you may feel like a little pull across the skin of the belly, the low belly, the abdomen because of the pulling on the side body. But you don't want that to be the sole focus. Soft face, soft throat. On your next breath, start to slowly release. Come out of it. Unravel yourself. And then take a rebound. So I'm just going to extend my legs wide. Let my arms go out wide. And just allow my body to be heavy here into the ground. So the rebound is giving me this place in which I could let the body kind of fall back. And the holding of the body fall back. So I start to release holding the body. I don't have to hold the body. So when we release the holding of the body, there's space because we're giving back some of the responsibility, some of the duty, some of the obligation, and we just get a little lighter. On your next breath in, gently bring the knees into the chest. Little squeeze. And then rock up. Come forward towards a tabletop. If your knees are sensitive, you can always pad your knees. Hands underneath you, just sway a little bit. Do a little movements in the spine. And then we're going to tuck all 10 toes under. I've got socks on. You can keep your socks on and just kind of manually move the toes under if you need. We're going to come into a toe tingle. So we want to sit back, bum towards the heels. This might not work for everyone. You can widen the knees as much as you need, right? So narrower might be a little bit more restrictive, a little wider gives you more space. And then if you need to, you can bring the hands down. And in doing so, you might kind of soften the experience just a bit. Or you can come back into it sitting up. And you're trying to really press back so that you spread the load of sensation across the sole of the foot here. So we're moving here into kidney 1, the bubbling spring, this point that brings yin energy up. And we want to cultivate yin. Yin is quiet. Yin is still. Yin is nurturing. Yin is holding. Yin is passive. And these are all the qualities that we want to have as we take this moment of reflection and pause, right? So in order to pause, in order to give ourselves space and time, we do that through the yin action. It's not through the yang action. Yang is moving, it's dynamic. Yin, the qualities of yin are what allow us to really tap into space and time. Let the breath here be smooth and even again. Staying in that rhythm of breath that is natural and organic. A few more moments. Slowly move forward, hands back down underneath your shoulders. Move the hips, tap the toes, roll the ankles. Notice that movement of qi. And then from here, you're going to move the knees back so you get a little bit more distance. Again, if your knees are sensitive, you can put something underneath them. And I'm going to take my right elbow to the ground and turn my right forearm in. In doing so, I have kind of like a little pillow for my head. You can also take a blanket. If you can't bring the forehead all the way down, you can prop yourself up if you want to be higher. But I'm going to bring my forearm down, forehead on the wrist or on the forearm. And then my left arm will reach forward. And when my left arm reaches forward, I'm getting a little bit of pull again on the inside of the left arm. I can widen this arm as much as I need. And I'm working here because it's asymmetrical. I can move the hand in, I can move the hand out, I can gently sit back, and I can manage that sensation. And as you're here, you can imagine that the back of your body, so from the ribs, back of the heart, low back, sacral area, kidney area, there's like this widening that's happening. So imagine that whole area just gently widening. And then the sensation again is coming on the inside seam of the right arm. If you feel any pinching on your shoulder, you can bend the elbow, bring it down, soften it a bit. Asymmetrical. So this is like a half of an open heart or a melting heart, half of a melting heart. Not too long here on the upper body meridians. We don't want to overcook the small joints. One more breath. Let the left hand come back gently. Press into the left hand to come forward. And then just notice how that feels. We'll come to the other side. So take the left forearm down. Reach the right hand forward. And again, you can manage the sensation by moving the hand closer, wider, back, forward, and then gently tugging. Okay, and the forehead goes on the forearm or on the wrist. And then you can move the knees back and sit back. And on this one, I get a little bit more sensation around my chest, around my pectoral muscle, coming in towards the center of my sternum. And I'm letting my belly be heavy here. So I'm not trying to hold myself up. I'm actually kind of letting myself sag a bit here. And as I do that, I can feel like I'm really getting a little pull that comes up towards the wrist. So from the center of the pit of the arm towards the wrist, and also down. So from the pit of the arm down along my breastplate and down the outer edge of my ribs. So each side, when we do something asymmetrical, has its own unique experience. I really love asymmetrical yin poses. They're great to kind of get really nuanced. If you need to soften the elbow, feel free, as you don't want to feel like you're pulling too intensely into the joint. Just one more breath. Slowly bring the forearm down. Pull yourself forward again into tabletop. And take a little sway. Maybe do some movements in the spine. So now I'm going to have you bring your knees in closer to your wrists, tuck your toes to stand up. But when you do so, keep the head heavy, and you're just going to come to a dangle. So I've got my feet about hips width. Yours can be wider or narrower. I've got my knees soft. Some people like to pull the knees back a bit. Some people like to bend the knees a lot. But really what I'm going for here is sensation in the back of my body. So that's anywhere from the heels all the way to the top of the head. My arms are kind of dangling as if they were earrings just loosely hanging from the sides of my head. And I'm gently putting my weight into my toes because that gives me more sensation right here through the calves and the backs of my legs and the hamstrings, and that's kind of what I want. If you're doing this in the morning, you might feel more sensation in your spine. Later in the day, maybe less sensation in the spine as we start to get warmer in the spine and it's not as wound tight, the fascia there. But here we are getting into this back line of the body, which is the urinary bladder and the kidneys. Feel free to take deep sighs. You can always have your hands on something as well. So if your hands don't go towards the ground like mine, you can put your hands on blocks or put something underneath you so that you have something to reach towards. But you don't feel like you need to let your hands go to the ground. The goal here is to simply just dangle. I let my head go completely, and I could feel even the tiniest little pull on the back of my head. Sensation on the back of the body.
Maybe even one side feels more than the other. And if you slightly, with the tiniest movement into the toes, you can change the sensation ever so slightly. On your next breath in, bend your knees to come back towards the ground. Take your time. Take your time. And you can take a rebound here, either on the belly or on the side. Whatever feels right for you. I like to bring my belly all the way down. And right away, just go hands on the ground, forehead to the hands, and just completely relax. Space and time. How do you cultivate the awareness to be as you are, to be where you are? How do you cultivate the awareness that you need to step back, that you need to observe, that you don't need to rush towards what's next or linger on what's been, but you can simply be in the fullness of what is? From the belly, if you're not there, come onto the belly. I'm going to widen my legs right away. Relax my lower body by rocking a bit so my glutes are completely relaxed. Then I'm going to bring my forearms underneath me to come into Sphinx pose. So for Sphinx, what I'm looking for is a little bit of sensation here through the kidneys, through the back body. You might feel a little pull on the hip flexors. I do sometimes. Your chin can be down, neutral, or up. That may change the pull you feel on the front of the body. But the goal is that the glutes are relaxed. So disengaged legs from the tips of the toes through the glutes into the low back will give the little stimulation on the low belly, on the back of the belly where the kidneys are. And then the more I relax my lower body into the ground, almost as if my lower body is being gently tugged into the ground from the earth. So I like to work a lot with visuals, this idea that the earth is gently drawing my lower body down, hugging my lower body towards the ground. You can widen the arms and the elbows if you need. Whatever works for you to get that sensation of just gently melting into the ground. Once again, stimulating the kidney space at the back of the body. And here you're also kind of stimulating a bit the front of the body. For me, this is quite stimulating in my low belly. I feel like I'm just getting a little pull there on the skin. And the more I let my body get heavy, the more I feel that low back stimulation. So this, we don't want to feel ouch, ouch, pinch, pinch. What I am feeling is sensation, like a little tug, a little tenderness. But we are officially in the winter season, especially if you're in the northern hemisphere. If you're in the southern hemisphere, you may not be in the winter, you may be in summer. But if you've entered into this time of winter, you are working with kidney energy. If you've entered into summer and you've gone into your summer solstice, you're working in the space of the heart, which is also here on the inner arms, into the chest, into the hollow of the armpit. Fire and water,
water and fire. So this pose will kind of stimulate both of those areas. If you feel okay, you can stay just as you are. But if you like a little more, on your inhale, you're going to press into the hands and come into seal pose. So what I do here is I go quite wide with my hands. I use my legs, I tighten up my legs to lift my chest, and then I relax my legs again. And in doing so, I have to really allow my body to get heavy. You could bring your chin down, you can keep it neutral, you can lift it up. But I'm really getting here, right into the space above my sacrum, which is the triangular bit at the base of my spine. And then I keep encouraging myself to relax the glutes, relax the glutes, relax the glutes. Unclench, unclench, ungrip. Consciously staying in the sensation right here, right now. This is my sensation. So keep calling yourself back to the present moment. Keep asking yourself, inviting yourself to just stay as you are, where you are, for just a moment, to savor this moment. Whether you're in Sphinx or in Seal, take another couple of moments. And then slowly, slowly come down. I'll invite you to take a child's pose, counter pose, or you can go to the belly. I like to go child's pose, counter pose. So you can widen the knees or keep them narrow and just sit back and round the spine. So in the counter pose, whether you're on the belly or in child's, how quickly do you move away from this particular moment? How quickly do we want to move on or notice ourselves? How long before you notice that you've changed your point of perception? If you're not in child's pose, go to child's pose. We're going to walk our hands over to the right side and then place the left hand on top of the right. I'm going to pull my left hip back and just get a little pull here on the left side of the body. So again, I'm imagining that the space around my low back is really wide. And the side body now is getting a little pull. So this is similar to the banana that we started in, except now we're kind of flipped in the other direction and we've got our knees tucked into the chest.
Some people will feel sensation on the outer edge of the left arm by the armpit. On your next breath, let's come through the center, walk the hands over to the other side. So now I'm going to take my right hand on top of my left. I'll draw my right hip back and let my body get heavy here so that there's again a little pull here along the side of the arm, around the armpit. Notice if your sensation is so different or distinctly different, or maybe it's quite similar, quite resemblant of one another. Sensation on the side body, slightly on the inner arm can be as well. And then slowly come back to center. I'm going to slide forward and turn around. I will grab my block here once I've turned around. Take a moment, relax the legs if you need. So I've got my block here. If you don't have a block, you can use a book, or you can take some pillows or some blankets. I'm going to place the soles of my feet on the ground, lift my hips up like I'm going to do bridge, and let my block rest underneath my sacrum here. And the block is on the medium setting. It does have a flatter setting, but that's too low for me. What I want to do is I want to extend the legs. So it's like I'm lying down with the lift right at the hip crease here, right? So whatever you can do to create that. But the legs need to be dangling here. Once I've got the legs dangling, I'll know that I've hit the sensation I want because I'm feeling pull here and here. So it's as if my legs are dangling off the block, almost like as if my pubic bone area here and this area of my hip flexors and my hip points wants to melt around the block. Once again, there's a little stimulation at the kidney area, which is normal. The arms now can go up and over if you've got the space for them, if you like. If this doesn't hurt your shoulders or create any pinching, or the arms can be by your sides. You can even open them wide. I like to have the arms up here. When I lift my arms over my head and I create more distance between my upper body, my limbs of my upper body and the limbs of my lower body, it creates for me a little bit more of that tug on the front of the body. So then I start to get a pulling right on the pubic bone, right here on the low belly. So remember, your entire body is one big wound piece of fascia. And we have a lot of fascia in the torso because we've got our organs there, we've got the spine there, right? The vertebrae, the spinal column, the spinal cord. So we get a lot of fascia in the torso region to protect, our spinal cord, our organs. So it's good to do some of these poses where we're really kind of stimulating the spine. Front body, back body, front body, back body. It's pretty much what we've been doing. A little bit of side body. And we're kind of getting the spine to move in its different ways that it moves. This way, as we can create some fluidity in that fascia that's wound tight around the torso, we can create some movement in the spine, which gives us vitality. As we age, we want to be able to continuously move the spine in all of its 6 directions, forward, back, laterally, side to side, and with twists, rotations. Let yourself melt around this block or blanket or whatever you have underneath you. Sensation in the front of the body, maybe letting the inner thighs completely relax. The quadriceps completely relax. The glutes completely relax. And the breath is there to support you, even and smooth as it needs to be. Start to slowly bend your knees. Bring one foot to the floor, bring the other foot to the floor. Take your time to lift the pelvis. Moving the block out of the way, slowly lowering down upper back, middle back, lower back. And then you can extend the legs to take your rebound, or if you like, you can pull the knees into your belly. Some people like to come in and coil in. We've got just one more pose. And we'll get right to it because it'll feel nice after this one. We're going to take a twist. So we're going to first twist to the right side. I'm going to have you move your hips to the left. Take the left leg over the right if this works for you, and come into twisted roots. So I'm just twisting my legs kind of like an eagle, and then I'm opening up my chest to the left side. So the rotation is happening here on the left side of my body. The left leg's kind of draping across. You can separate the legs if you like, or you can cross them. You can even leave them close together if that feels better on your low back. I'm gonna do kind of like a cross with my leg over. This gives me the most amount of sensation here. Also helps me feel like this leg is gently hugging across the body. You can turn the head and the neck in whatever direction works for you. But I'm really cognizant here of not contracting my belly. I'm also really aware of not forcing myself into this twist. It's almost like I'm letting my leg come across my body, and the weight of the leg and the pull of that creates a pulling here on the glute and the IT band, and then rotates through my flanks here and my side body, creating a rotation in my spine. Because really the rotations in the spine only happen in the thoracic, so that's right in the center, in your mid-back, not in the lower back, very little, and not in the upper back. So as I soften my belly and I let the leg get heavier, the rotation is just deepening ever so slightly. no forcing. And the breath, it will change in the twist, but you can do what you need to encourage it to be as long as it was without the twist. So where is this sensation? Where do you feel it? Can you capture it? Can you hold it? Start to slowly come through the center. And then moving your hips over to the right, taking your time. Taking your time. I'm going to move my hips to the right, and then I'll cross my right leg over. And as I do so, I let my right shoulder, my right arm kind of open up. I relax my head and neck. And this hand here that's on my thigh, it's very light. I'm not using it for weight or force. I'm just gently encouraging this release here. And I start to feel even a little pull across my chest, across the pectoral muscle, across the front of my heart. Again, the more I relax my right leg, the one that's coming across, the heavier it gets, the more I can feel the little pull here on my belly and my intercostals and my flanks, and the more rotation I can get. Option 2, keep the knees together in a square twist. Option to cross the right leg over the left, more like you're doing an eagle wrap with the legs. Notice the breath. Notice the sensation. Notice the difference from side to side. But come back to the experience of the now. And then slowly start to come out. One final time, hug your knees into your chest. Take a squeeze there. And then slowly set up for your very final rebound, your Shavasana. So you can extend the legs out. If you've got blocks or bolsters, you can use them. You can use a blanket to weight your body if you'd like. And just get very heavy. So whatever shape that is that allows you to absorb, lying flat underneath the bolster with the blanket on you. But just come to a place where there is a sense of allowing the different movements, the stimulation throughout the meridian channels and the movement of chi to kind of wash over you. Take a moment to notice the heaviness of the ground beneath you, the earth and its stability. How and when can you
Call on the stability of the earth, of its enduring power, of its steadiness and loyalty, to keep you steady and loyal to yourself. Take a moment to notice and become aware of your body taking up the space in the room that you're in. Maybe noticing the limbs reaching out far away from each other, the top of the head far away from the soles of the feet, and all of the space in between. The space in which you occupy, the very specific space and shapes and dimensions of your body, as if you could stand back and watch it all and observe yourself. Notice the movement of breath within you, the wind, the air. And if you can't notice the actual breath, you can notice the way the breath creates a rising in the chest and a falling in the chest, ever so naturally. So with each exhale, there's a moment of letting go, unclenching, being in what is. Feel free to stay in your Shavasana as long as you like, really savoring the moment. Whatever is coming through, whatever is real, the moment. If you're ready, start to press yourself gently up, finding a place to sit up tall. You can keep the eyes soft or the gaze soft, or even close the eyes if you like. Once you've made your way to a comfortable seat, bring the hands to prayer at the center of the heart and take a bow. It is an honor and a pleasure to share these practices with you all. These are the practices that for me really keep me anchored in my truth, allow me to see, to hear, to observe. And I bring that capacity to see, to hear, and observe to all the areas of my life. So when I can get really quiet and really still, when I don't need to rush into the future, when I am not harboring on what has been in the past, and I just am with what is, the sensations, the breath, the very moment, I give myself so much power. I step fully into my power. So I invite you all to keep cultivating these moments of pause, reflection, where you can step deeply, deeply into your own power, connecting to yourself in a deep, deep way. From that deep well of connection to self, all inspiration, all intentions, all manifestations can arise because there has been this moment to say, there I am, that is me, as I am in this moment. Have a beautiful, blessed, end of year, beginning of year, wherever you are. May your intentions, your manifestations, your visions come through for you over and over again, always from a place of truth and honesty, integrity, and deep connection. Thank you. Namaste.